engaged.
Holy hell. That's nice. Damn. So another long night here in the shop. I probably got somewhere around maybe 400 hours into this thing. Today I finished up the Watts link and I'm starting to weld up all the rest of the stuff on this front end here. The bag mounts. And then I'm going to add some more reinforcement to this axle right in the center between the bag mounts because that's where most of the pressure is going to want it to go. I finished welding on these the upper bag mounts. Got the new belt routed. Had to get a custom belt. Well, I had to find one that would fit it. That would fit it because I removed the water pump, or not the water pump, the clutch fan and the AC pump. Just clean it up a little bit. As you can see here, I took this axle out once I got most of it welded, and it just makes it easier to weld on the hard to get spots when it's out of the car. Most of the welds turned out alright. Not too bad, I guess. Some of those in there are kind of ugly because it was hard to get to. It was kind of awkward, but that's alright. You'll never see most of this. So now that I got all this welded up, gonna take a 5/8 bar, 5/8 by 1 inch, and because this is bagged and most of the pressure is gonna be right in the center here, I'm actually gonna take it and I'm gonna kind of gust it in between here, so that way this and the centerpiece all support the center of this vertically, because what I'm worried about is this axle bending right in the center, you know, because they're gonna have so much force right in the center between these two bags. So I'm just gonna gust it in between here with this plate. Cut it to 5 inches, throw a couple welds on it, and that'll be more than good. So that's what I'm doing tonight. Turning out pretty nice. Think it'll work out well. Nice weather today. Finally, snow's all pretty much melted. Now I'm gonna start working on this air tank here. I actually gotta narrow this about 8 inches because with this on here and all my valves, it's gonna come out to about here. So in order for it to fit in here without removing while I can still keep the window stuff, I'm gonna have to take this, I'm gonna have to narrow it about 6 to 8 inches. So this is originally about 28 gallons. If I narrow it 8 inches, with my calculations, it's gonna be 20 gallons, so that's about a good size. So what I'm gonna do is similar to how I did my chop. I'm taking this duct tape type stuff. It doesn't matter what kind of tape, but this is 4 inches wide. So I'll do 2 of these strips right next to each other. And then as long as you follow the line on the cut, it'll have a perfectly symmetrical cut. And then you want to mark where you start, or mark the same place on here so you can line them up. So just put a line across here with a Sharpie. Then once you narrow it, you can cut it, or you can move it together and then line up the lines, and then you'll make sure all your cuts are the same, and this will be pretty square.
I I've been slipping back, heading south, cars sick on a Tuesday. Missing cash, blacking out, heartless in a few ways. Shit for luck, elbows shredded, I help things steady like too late. Please calm the fuck down.
Ooh, that was a close call. What the hell? Hi.
Hard tabs on a hot night in a cold basement. You say I'm crazy, but I feel amazing.
Now that I got these things all cleaned up, I can grind down the edges, blow it all out, and start welding it together. I made a little boo-boo the first time and it didn't really line up right, so I had to start over, ground down the tacks that I had on there, took it all apart again. And what I'm gonna try this time is I started at one spot, lined it up so it's flush, and I'm just kind of working my way around in one direction, using a screwdriver or something similar just to pry it until it's level or flush. You see how that works right there? Okay. If you go to, and if you keep moving your way all the way around, it'll slowly straighten itself out and it should work well. I have this tank tacked up every couple inches all the way around this thing. Now I'm gonna take a grinder. You can see some of these kind of look crappy. So I'm gonna take a grinder and get these kind of flatter. That way when I'm welding, it doesn't affect me as much. Less chance of getting porosity or holes. Ideally, I wouldn't like to have this many tacks. I would have liked to have solid beads, but I noticed as I was going, if I didn't have them close enough together, the tacks on the other side would crack. I'd hear them snap, so I went back and did them a little bit closer together, and now I don't have that issue. So once I get this ground down, I'll do little passes here probably to each tack, burn into it, stop, burn into the next one, stop. You know, kind of work my way around a little bit. Take my time so it doesn't start breaking other tacks on the other side, because it's going to want to pull it on this side, so the other side is going to want to separate. So just listen for that, and that's what I'm going to do. So I started welding this. I got a couple good hot beads. I think I got 4 or 5 of them, just kind of spread out. Now I'm going to let it cool, and then after this it should be good to weld completely, because this is holding it all in place. And then these tacks also. A little note, if you're trying to keep your welds clean to hold air, you see that carbon built up right there from the start of the weld, goes all the way down. You're gonna want to clean that every time you weld into something. So take a wire brush, clean all that crap out, so that way when you burn into it, it's gonna be a clean burn in. The same goes for if you're painting something like this. The paint actually won't stick to the carbon very well, it'll just rub off, so you need to take a wire brush to it. Two leaks, not bad. Had this tank sitting down here for a couple days since I welded up that center section, since I shortened it. Got this on here, and then I got a gauge that just plugs in. Got this whole sort of conglomeration of shit here. I just made what I had to work. I pumped it up to 100 PSI, let it sit a couple days. Only lost a couple PSI, and I'm thinking it's one of these fittings, because when I run through this with soapy water, there's no bubbles or anything. I got pretty wide beads on there, so I'm gonna call it good. So if you look in here, you can see that I have this 1.5 inch tubing, and I've just done a little bit of pie cut to get it to form to this angle. And the easiest way to do that is to actually take it and just lay it against the outside here and slowly cut it, bend it. I ended up cutting every 5 inches or so. And then once it's formed to the outside here, you can try and test fit it in here. And what I'm doing is I'm having it up against that lip like that. Okay, so I'll tack these pie cuts where they need to be so they don't move. And then I'll tack this in here to hold it in place. Then test fit everything around it, and then take it all out, weld up these things, make sure nothing moves on me, and then put it back. The easiest way to probably do this would be to take it and set it on the outside here. Okay, clamp it to the outside of the body, and then I'm gonna weld these. See this open side here to keep its shape. Otherwise, if you weld it when this is just open in the air or not attached to anything like this, it's gonna want to close on you, and it'll become more straight. You see how it's curved that way? It'll become more straight up and down, and you'll lose your curvature out that you have. So I've been pretty busy here at the shop. Well, actually, I've been busy up at the house doing other stuff, taxes and all that. So I haven't been working on this as much as I'd like to be. But right now, today, I'm just gonna work at chipping away on reinforcing this body. You can see over here, I have that doorpost tacked in there. And now, if you look down in these rockers, these used to be filled with wood. So they had the wood that was carved to the right size or the right shape, and then they nailed it all together through the sheet metal, okay? Well, that wood is all rotten now, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take some of this light blue tubing. Remember this tubing that I cut off of that roof section that I got from that building? So I'm gonna take it, and now I have to pie cut these to bend it. You could use a fancy pipe bender, but I don't have that. I'm using kind of old school method, so I'll just do a little cut here, slowly bend it. Yeah, I got it marked every about 6 inches here, so it'll give it a small radius, or you know what I mean, to follow that. This is just a 1 1/4 inch by probably 12 gauge, 13 gauge, something like that. Should be plenty thick enough, plenty big enough, but it's still pretty lightweight. Okay, so I'm gonna do that today, and then I'll tack all that up. And then if you look over on this other side over here, you can see that that side still has the wood in the inner structure there. I had to cut some of it away to get it to kind of fit around my frame, but I'm kind of on the fence as to if I want to remove that wood and start over with metal. It's really kind of a pain in the butt, honestly, to get the wood out of there, because you never know where all the little nails are, where the connecting points were back in the day. And that wood's pretty solid, so I might consider just tying into it with some little angles that are welded to my doorposts and some self-tap or some wood screws or something like that. But I haven't decided yet. I'll kind of see how this side goes. If it doesn't take long, I might do that on that side also, just because it's, you know, a symmetry kind of deal. And it might be the right thing to do. The wood has lasted over 80 years already, and it's still pretty solid, so I would think it'd be okay, but I don't know. So this is kind of a really long process, doing all these reinforcing things on this body. Got to do all this stuff back in here. All this stuff. I got a whole bunch of stuff. I'll probably spend just a week just on doing this. Because I've been so busy, I kind of been falling behind on video stuff, so if you guys see any drop in quality in my videos in the next couple weeks, I apologize. but trying my best here to get this done. I'm on a tight deadline and I got lots of stuff I have to get done, so I've been focusing more on building than videoing. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to hit me up. Like my page on Facebook, Tinman2 Customs, or add me as a friend, Luke Merrill, LukeMerrill. I like random friend requests. It's kind of cool that I have friends all over the place and that are interested in my builds. Thanks for watching, guys.